What's going on, guys? I'm the filmmaker and I love movies, and welcome back to another video. Hope you're all staying well, hope you're all staying safe. Now, since you've clicked on this video, I'm sure you are at a loss of entertainment. You've browsed through Netflix countless times. It feels like you've just been browsing through Netflix more than you've actually been watching Netflix. Well, you've come to the right place. Your fears may rest here. I am here to help. I am here to recommend 10 essential films to watch on Netflix. Some of these films are not masterpieces, they're not the greatest films of all time, they're just awesome movies that you should definitely watch while you've got the time because, well, you're not doing anything, you're at a loss for entertainment. Well, just watch these fantastic films, you will thank me later. So, without further ado, let's get into my top 10 list. It's not in any really particular order, I've kind of just thrown together a list of just 10 films I think you should really watch. But before we get into that, I just want to say one film that didn't make the cut, but I still think you should watch it, and it's called Groundhog Day with Bill Murray. It's really good, and because I'm just recommending this to you off the bat because it is quite similar to the situation we're in now because, well, Bill Murray has to live the same day over and over again. It's very funny, really well written, and I think if you haven't seen it, it is an essential film to watch if you're a Bill Murray fan, if you're a comedy fan, if you're just at a loss, again, for entertainment. Let's get into the first film on the list, which is Dumb and Dumber with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels in. Now, this movie is hilarious. I laugh at this movie all the time. By no means is it one of the greatest comedies of all time. No, it's not, but it's just a really funny film. If you do enjoy this film, the sequel is actually on Netflix as well. Of course, nowhere near as good as the original film, but it's still fun if you enjoyed this one. So that is Dumb and Dumber. Next one we've got on our list is Ocean's 11, directed by Steven Soderbergh with a fantastic cast. You've got Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, all these other actors, George Clooney for crying out loud. You need to watch this movie, and Andy Garcia as the big bad villain, and it's a heist film set in Las Vegas, and it's so good. I'm one who loves heist movies. I love crime films, and this movie, it will answer your prayers of having a good heist movie. And also, the other two films in the franchise are on Netflix, Ocean's 12 and Ocean's 13. So if you did enjoy Ocean's 11, you can still check out the other two. Of course, they're not as near as good as the original. However, they are still fun heist films that, again, if you enjoyed the original, you'll enjoy those ones. Next up, we've got Nightcrawler. Now, you may never have heard this movie. It's directed by Dan Gilroy, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, and it is absolutely riveting. Basically, it's about this guy who's trying to record like footage of accidents and crimes, and he sells them to like news outlets. If it would happen in the UK, it would be, say if I found a dead body somewhere or a murder happening, I would record it and sell it to maybe the BBC, and they can show it on the 10 o'clock news or whatever. And so this guy is basically scrambling, trying to find different crimes, and it is absolutely riveting because you're really not sure, is this guy creating the crimes to sell, basically. It's a fun mystery, it's riveting, it's interesting, and it's absolutely fantastic. Definitely worth a watch. Next is a movie 10 minutes shy of 3 hours, and it is the classic The Great Escape, of course, starring Steve McQueen. Now, this might put you off. I mean, it's a pretty long movie, made in the 60s. Maybe you're not really into that. It's really worth a watch. I watched this movie back in December, and I was watching like an hour segment every night. I mean, I would have appreciated to watch it all the way through, but I just thought if I can watch hour segments, it would just be easier. But yeah, it's a really worth watch film. I mean, it's really entertaining, and it's a classic war movie. If you enjoy your war movies, it's just a must watch. Next is a movie called The Breakfast Club, directed by John Hughes, and it is, you know, it's iconic. It's a classic 1980s film, and it's not that long. It's like 1 hour and 40 minutes, and again, it's another fantastic. All the movies on this list are brilliant, and this one, the reason why I add this film on the list is because just recently a lot of John Hughes films have been added to Netflix. Ferris Bueller's Day Off, 16 Candles, and of course The Breakfast Club. And so if you want to check that out, again, it's just all these movies are worth checking out. I didn't have much to say about the movie. I've seen it twice, and I think you may enjoy watching it. Now, this movie came out last year, and it is utterly brilliant. It is, of course, John Wick Chapter 3. It is an action movie extravaganza. It is thrilling to watch. I first watched this and I wasn't really sure how I felt about it, but when I rewatched it, I loved it. The long takes, the wide angles you get of the action, it's something you will have never seen before. And if you're a fan of the other John Wick movies, check this one out. If you've already seen this one, then watch it again because it's really good. The pacing is really fantastic, and the cinematography as well. I mean, you wouldn't really expect a prestige cinematographer to be on a John Wick film, but actually it looks fantastic. You've got the fantastic crazy colours, the long takes. I actually reviewed it. If you would like to check the review out here, it is, as I said, brilliant. Another action movie we've got on the list is Kingsman: The Secret Service. Now, I'm sure many of you watching this video have already seen this film. It came out like in 2014. If you haven't, got Taron Egerton, Samuel Jackson and Colin Firth in an awesome British original spy comedy. I would actually call this. It's got very funny moments since Samuel Jackson is awesome and he's so good as the villain, and the action's great. It's done by Matthew Vaughn, so it's something a little bit different. It's not on the level of John Wick for action, but for story and for someone who, for myself, loves spy films, it is another must watch. You're very lucky to have all these fantastic films on Netflix. Next on the list is a Tarantino movie, Inglourious Basterds. This is another fantastic war movie, but it kind of puts a different twist on it because it's Tarantino. So you could actually watch The Great Escape and then Inglourious Basterds because it's a great double bill. There's actually a few references in this movie from The Great Escape. And you've got, Brad Pitt, Christoph Waltz, and for anyone who appreciates fantastic films and fantastic cinema, you've got to watch this. I mean, it's Tarantino, for crying out loud. And if you are actually a fan of this movie, then maybe watch Reservoir Dogs, Tarantino's first feature film that he directed. So, it's another great watch. It's something different. It's something fun. It's something exhilarating. And it's a really well-made movie. Next up is Best Picture winner, Anthony Hopkins, Jodie Foster, The Silence of the Lambs. This was the first movie I watched this year, and it's absolutely fantastic. It is one of the greatest movies on this list. The two other films that are actually joint in first place are very slightly better, but this movie, you're going to be invested in this film. I think it's like 2 hours long. The editing is superb. It's so good. You're going to love this. And actually the entire franchise of Hannibal, like Red Dragon and the Hannibal movies, is actually on Netflix. I haven't seen those films yet, but if you do enjoy Silence of the Lambs, go check out Hannibal, Red Dragon Rising. All those films are actually connected to this one, but they're not actually meant to be that good, so watch them at your own will. I will definitely be checking those out in the near future. Now, joint in first place is the two Martin Scorsese films on Netflix, which are Goodfellas and The Irishman. We'll start with The Irishman. That came out last year. 5-star. 5 out of 5 for me. This is utterly brilliant. 3 hours and 30 minutes long. And I know that runtime can put a few people off, but you're stuck inside. What are you waiting for? I watched this film twice. I watched this film without even stopping it. Alright, it's not that long. If you look at the grand scheme of things of different films, this is actually an awesome movie, and I don't understand why people are put off by the long runtime, because it enhances the movie, because it makes it more grand, the scale is bigger, and it doesn't feel that long, because the pacing is fantastic. The acting, the direction, everything. It is Martin Scorsese's modern masterpiece. You must watch this film. It's exclusive on Netflix. Nowhere else can you watch this film, only on Netflix. What are you doing? Watch this film. And of course, we've got Martin Scorsese's classic 1990 gangster masterpiece with Joe Pesci, Ray Liotta, and of course the great Robert De Niro in Goodfellas. This is one of my favourite films of all time. It is absolutely fantastic, and it's not as long as The Irishman. It's like 2.5 hours long, and of course that flies by in an instant because the pacing, the music, everything, you're going to be utterly enchanted on the screen for this film. So please do yourself a favour and watch all these films. Maybe work your way through my list. Maybe you've already seen some of these films, maybe you haven't. Please tell me your list in the comments below, and do you want me to do maybe a list for Netflix TV shows, or maybe one of these lists for Amazon Prime, Disney Plus, all the different streaming services I can do this list for. Please leave a comment in the comments section down below. Thank you for making it this far into my video, and as always, I will see you again in the next video. Stay safe.